Hello, my name is Lourdes Chekowitz, and I'll be doing my presentation about Midnight Runners. I picked this movie because I really love Park Seo-joon. If you didn't know, I actually have a poster of him right here, so you'll see a bit more of him during my presentation. Okay. Okay, like I said, this presentation is going to be about Midnight Runners. This is the movie poster for it. Very nice. Oh, here's the trailer. I'll play the trailer.
자, 범인이 흉기를 들고 나를 공격할 때, 무슨 좀 특별한 살인할 확률이 가장 높은 시간을 뭐라고 부르는지 아는 크리티컬 아워입니다. 오, 배운대로 해봐. 가위바위보. 때리면 너무 늦을 것 같은데? 무쳐도 하는 데까지 한번 해보자. 잘 생각한 방법. 그거 써볼까? 피해자 중심수사, 의통 중심수사, 현장 중심수사. 물론 수사. 무조건 절차가 중요해. 우리 경찰 아니야. 아직 학생이야. 뭐라고?
Okay, next. Basically the plot of the movie centers around these two guys, Ki-jun and Hyo. They become really good friends despite being sort of different archetype characters. One of them is more of a nerd, very brainiacy, Hyo, and Ki-jun is more he's more like a brawny, act first, think later, less obsessed with the police rules and more so the action that they get to do. And so they become friends despite their differences. And during a rare night out, they witness a young woman being kidnapped on the street. And they're like, oh my goodness, we need to do something about this. Or we need to call the police. But then they realize it's not going to be quick enough. The response won't be quick enough because they just watched it happen. And so they decide to handle things on their own as best as they can because they have the training and the experience and they witnessed everything. And so throughout the plot of the movie, they discover an illegal like human trafficking ring that targets women specifically. And so with using the training that they have and working together and getting through all these different hardships, they end up rescuing the victims and they bring the criminals down, which is very exciting. And they do succeed in earning respect, but they do get bumped down a few years. Or I think they have to go back to school for a little bit longer than their classmates, and they lose points. But it was agreed upon that they did the right thing, and so they were content with that ending. I was also content with that ending. I really love Park Seo-joon, like I said. Um, this was his first movie being like a big star or like the lead male in a movie, and then the next year he was in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, a really good K-drama, and that's when I became his fan. And so this was before I became his fan. The facts. So the Korean title is Chongyong Kyongchal. It was released in August of 2020, not 2025. Oh, I put the wrong date. I'm so sorry. 2017. It was directed by Jason Kim. It's an action comedy film. It was his first movie as a lead, like I said, and it won him many awards. He won the most awards for the film. The film did win one award, it was in the 10 best films of the year as voted by the Korean Association of Film Critics, that award ceremony. But he won three Best New Actor awards and one Popular New Star. And he's gone on since to be in a lot of great films. Y'all saw him in Parasite, and just in the very beginning, though, he was only in the very beginning. And the production budget was about 6.8 million, and only in the first 8 days, the film brought 18.9 million in the box office, and it went on to get even more. So it centers around the two characters, like I said, Kyun and Hyun, both very handsome, both very capable, just more of a Sojun gal. So the cultural components I noticed in this movie specifically was mostly about the police academy culture in Korea, which I have noticed throughout other dramas and movies I've seen. But I did make note of that with this movie, especially because it centers around two students and their struggle within the system to do what's right. So it is very hierarchical. And so, like we saw, they did the right thing, but they were still punished for it because they went past their bosses, I guess, those above them. And so they still got punished for that, even though they did the right thing. So it's very intense, very hierarchical situation. And so something that ties into the academy culture in Korea is the mandatory military service that a lot of the men go through before the age of 30, which is very different from here in America. Um, but because all men are required to serve, the police training academy sort of resembles the training they go through in the military, and we see a lot of that intensity in like those scenarios, and that becomes sort of very normal for something like the training academy, even though there is women in the police training academy. Um, Another thing is because there is two male leads in the cast, they do use honorifics with each other. An older male will always be Hyung to a younger male, and the older will call the younger Dongsang. Um, and so that's another note I made was the use of honorifics throughout the movie. Special film features. I just talked about the use of sound that the director used. So because it's an action comedy, there's going to be, some scenes that are really silly and then some scenes that are more serious. And so they used a lot of like the type sounds for scare, the very intense moments, and then like happy like gag noises for like when you're supposed to laugh or when the guys are being silly. For my discussion questions, I have how does the police culture in South Korea differ from how it is in your country? And do you think Kijun and Hyo made the right decision in avoiding the typical way of handling things and doing it through their own capabilities? Or if you were in their shoes, would you have called the police? I don't know. Here are my references. Thank you very much from me and Sojun. Thank you guys. Bye.